Alright, guys, so AEW All Out just happened, and look, I can do this. I could give you, like, a complete overview of everything and every match. Like, I already recorded a video like that, and I'm not going to do that, I think, because it ended up being, like, a half hour long, so I'm just like, alright, it's way too fucking long. Way too fucking long, I can already tell. So, I'm just going to give you, like, a quick overview of everything, and we're just going to go through the results fast, and then I'm just going to give you my highs and lows of everything, I'll tell you where I stand on the pay-per-view, but let's just, we'll keep it simple. So let's just start at MJF versus Daniel Garcia. MJF wins, cheap manner. MJF wins through, I think he ends up hitting him in the dick. He punches him in the balls when the referee wasn't looking, pins him. There was a bunch of close calls throughout the entirety of the match. The match was good. It was back and forth. Both wrestlers got a bunch of offense in. So, it was good for what it was. No complaints at all. Ended up being a complete slugfest. So I know anyone who watched enjoyed it, man. Just a complete banger. It ends off with Max trying to give Daniel Garcia a handshake in the end, and Daniel Garcia says no. He actually does give him the handshake, and then he kicks him in the dick, and he just beats the shit out of Max, and he essentially writes Max off TV, and he runs off into the crowd. I don't know. Again, we're gonna go through the highs and lows of this soon, but that's just a quick overview of the match. Screw it, I'll just give you my quick opinion on it. I think it was good. It was fine. I think my only complaint would have been I sort of wanted Danny to just win the match, but I get it. You should protect Max's character ultimately. Max is like a complete main eventer, big time character in AEW, so don't make him lose to someone who's basically a certified mid-carder. And we really don't know about Danny Garcia's future. We actually don't know if he's re-signing or not. So this is a good result. It works. The Bucks versus the BCC. I'm just going to keep this one easy. This was pretty much like any Bucks match you've ever watched. Good match. It's the same spots. It's pretty much anything you'd ever expect from the Bucks, man. All right, so it's nothing crazy, but there was a lot of good spots during this match. Nothing really close. Nothing that made me think the Bucks were ever going to lose, and ultimately the Bucks won. So nothing crazy. This is one of the matches I was definitely least looking forward to watching and keeping up with, I'd say. But it works for what it is. And again, there's really nobody to overtake the Bucks, so that's kind of the other problem. You just have to kind of put them on pay-per-views, and they're going to put on bangers, but there's no one there. There's absolutely no one there to beat them at the moment. Then we got Will Ospreay versus the Bastard Pack. Bastard Pack. But Pac versus Will Ospreay, and you can just make your presumption, man. Who won this match? Will Ospreay. Not really anything, we wouldn't have predicted originally, but this match was sick as fuck, though. All right, I'm just going to be honest with you. It was a sick match. Completely back and forth. Look, these are two incredible performers, man. So when they step in the ring with one another, you already know what it's going to be. Just an absolute banger of a match. The spot that took me was when Will was about to hit the Styles Clash, and the whole crowd yells, "Styles Clash!" and they already knew it was coming. It was so cool. And the crowd was super into this match. So this match worked for what it was, man. Just a good match to kick off Will's reign. So I liked it. And then Will Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. This is probably one of the more surprise matches of the night. This match was a fucking banger, man. This match was a complete fucking banger overall. It's just a complete fucking slugfest, man. Shout out Will Nightingale, man. Shout out Chris Statlander, too. They took some crazy, crazy bumps during this match. And finally, we can just end this feud, because this has gone on for a little bit too long now. But this was a perfect way to just finish this up and capitalize on the whole thing. So I liked it. I'll take it for what it is. But yeah, this match also proved to me, though, that there's no doubt Chris Statlander, she should be the face of the women's division. And as much as I like Mariah May, and I'd give her just, at least give her 4, 5, 6 months in the title, but maybe until the end of the calendar year. But I feel like Statlander needs a fucking championship, man. Whether it's the TBS title or whether it's just the world title, Statlander needs a fucking championship. She's on that level with Rhea Ripley in terms of charisma, appearance, and athletic ability, where she could easily be, and strength, where she could easily be, a complete and legitimate face of a women's division in wrestling. So any company would make her a face, man. So of their division. So I'm completely into this, man. This was a great match. Then Ricochet, Will Ospreay had some interaction backstage. This is probably one of the worst moments, even this is like a nothing moment, kind of a nothing burger, but bro, Ricochet is so trash on the mic. Ricochet is so fucking trash on the mic. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Will Ospreay's kind of calling him out. He's like, "Ricochet, when are you going to come out?" And that's going to be a good match when it happens, but it's man, this is why anyone who tried to make this comparison between the two is so stupid, because Will Ospreay is a legit superstar. He's a superstar, complete superstar, right? And Ricochet is just such a joke, bro. He's such a joke. He's so trash on the fucking mic, man. It's unreal. He lacks any charisma. He doesn't ooze even a little bit of charisma in him, man. He's just yeah, you'll see me, don't worry. You'll see me, don't worry about it. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon. Like, god damn, man. The fucking Solo Sikoa of high flyers. Like, he's just, at least on the mic, like, he's so fucking poor on the mic. It's crazy. Just no charisma whatsoever on the mic. You know, he's so timid, it feels like. But whatever. And then the Continental Championship match, this is a slugfest too. Okada versus OC versus Takeshita versus Briscoe. This was a good match too, man. And Okada won predictably, but, you know, I like how it ended. OC took the pin. That's good. Don't, you know, if anyone there should have took the pin, it had to be him, honestly. Not Briscoe. And I'm happy with it. Or Takeshita. And the seed's been planted now for Takeshita versus Okada. And hopefully down the line, Takeshita takes that title from Okada. Because that could be a stellar feud. And they can do some promos in Japanese. And you know, they match up really well together, man. Like 2 6'3" guys just going back and forth. It's insane. It's insane. They have a good look, you know, going against each other. So I'd book that down the line. And then the worst match of the night, unsurprisingly, just like All In. Although what some would say is the Hook Jericho match. That might have been the worst match of All In, never mind. But this was the worst match to me, of this night at least. Mercedes versus Shida, and Camille was banned from ringside. And then Shida hits her with, I think, the katana kick. I don't know. She hits her with her finisher a couple times. And then I think it's called the katana kick. I forget, actually. And either way, Mercedes basically just didn't sell the third one because Shida pins her, and she just gets up. Like, she takes a 1 count, essentially. Like a 1.5 count on the pin. It was so strange, dude. It was a 1.5 count, and it was because she needs to go adjust her wig. So she escaped the ring, and even the commentators were super confused, you could tell. And I think it's because she needed to adjust her wig. And then the match ended in stupid fashion, too. Dude, the referee's looking at her. It's not even like the referee was, like, bummed out or anything. The referee's just looking at her. She's just like, should I hit her with the kendo stick? Do I hit her with the kendo stick? I don't know if I should hit her. Like, don't you want to win the match? I'm so confused. And it was like, I guess she doesn't. I guess she just doesn't want to win the match. I don't really know. I'm like, I guess she just doesn't want to win the match because she just is like, I don't know, I'm not going to do it though. And then Mercedes just like capitalizes and hits the Monet Maker, the Money Maker. So, her trash ass finisher. So, yeah, this match was fucking horrible actually. And probably one of the only poor spots of the night, honestly speaking. Then one of the better matches, Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. This match, Jack Perry's entrance was so cool. He had the security coming out. He was getting, you know, they started out with him getting gas for his bus, him driving the bus, leaving the bus, being accommodated by the elite, being accommodated by the security crew. Then he makes his entrance, and like, this was a great back and forth match. We already knew it was going to happen. We knew, you know, Bryan Danielson was going to win, but they sold us on it pretty well at least. And I guess the only complaint about it was, like, I thought Jack Perry was doing a lot of Raven poses for some reason. Like, he kept Raven posing all over the place. And I'm like, dude, like, you kind of have to, like, stop doing that after a little while. Like, he just kept Raven posing. I'm like, okay, man, we got it. And then even at the end of the match, when Bryan hits him with the final Buzaki knee, he's still Raven posing. He just Raven poses into the knee and to take the knee. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, that was a little bizarre. I love Jack Perry. I love what he's doing with the gimmick. But I'm like, I just, like, don't know why he kept doing the Raven pose. He must have done it like 20 times during that match. I'm like, all right, man. He clearly does care about his aesthetics, you know. So, but like, he doesn't need to keep doing the pose over and over again. You know, I thought it was a little bit too much after a while. But this is a great match, and then the ending was excellent too. We saw the Luchasaurus Jack Perry stare down, which is really cool. And then that interaction was really interesting. Just to set up Christian coming out, which Christian was going to cash in, but Christian really wasn't going to cash in, obviously. The PCC came out, and they stopped him, and then they fucked off. And then all of a sudden, the PCC turned on Bryan Danielson. Yeah, they turned on Bryan Danielson. This was a crazy finish, and not one anyone fully out in the cards. But yeah, Claudio hits him with an uppercut, and then Moxley takes a plastic bag. After giving this guy a hug and kiss, he takes the plastic bag and he wraps it around Bryan Danielson's head. He essentially writes him off TV, or he needed to be escorted out with a bunch of medical people. It was really interesting. He needed a breathing mask, an oxygen mask. It was a good finish, man. It was a good finish, and it took everyone by surprise. And Wheeler Useless's crying was really interesting on the side. Like, he was crying, being held out by Pac. And then eventually the BCC walks out, Pac, Mox, and Claudio. I have no idea what's going to happen to Wheeler Useless, but he was crying, and he left with Bryan. But super interesting match, man. Super interesting finish. I wonder what they're going to do later on down the line. And then finally, the best match of the night, maybe maybe my personal favorite match of the year. I don't care. I know this was not complete wrestling. This was, a lot of this was just like gore. But Hanger versus not Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. This match was golden, man. It's a golden match. It's a golden fucking match, and it's as violent as you could possibly get. Hanger ends up winning the match. He pops a syringe he first rips out Swerve's grill, pops a syringe, and then he takes the chair and just slams a fucking chair through his head. Popped the chair open. It's absolutely insane, man. It was insane, this finish. And then eventually, Hanger, he ends in KO essentially, and Hanger's leaving the match, and he starts walking back towards the fucking entranceway because he looks like he's regretful of what's happening. And the whole crowd is screaming in horror. Not even booing, man. Just outright screaming in fucking horror for him. They're screaming in horror. And as this goes on, it ends, and he just decides he was about to walk through the face entrance, but then he makes that split decision and goes through the heel entrance because I think he realized, everything became full circle. He became a full-on heel, and he's essentially taken in what he is now. He's essentially the villain of the whole story, something he never thought he was to begin with. So it was a full circle moment for Hangman. Just excellent storytelling. Swerve's going to get some needed time off too, but it was a great pay-per-view, man. And the highs and lows, like I said, mostly all highs. The Mercedes match is the low, maybe the only low of the entire card. That's it. I don't know if there's much else I can tell you about. Even the Young Bucks match wasn't bad. It just was a little bit predictable. We already knew it was going to happen, but insane pay-per-view, like insanely good pay-per-view. Very dark though. Very dark, gory pay-per-view. A lot of people are going to be written off TV for a long time now. Max, Swerve, maybe Bryan Danielson for a little while. There's going to be several people written off TV for a little while, I think. So this is a good, and maybe even Hanger, but yeah, man, this is as good as it gets. For an AEW pay-per-view, not as good as it gets, but one of the better pay-per-views they probably ran, which is crazy to say because All In was incredible. Revolution, Dynasty, they've been on such a fucking roll this year when it comes to pay-per-views. So hopefully the momentum continues, and hopefully these next coming weeks, the Dynamites, more specifically than anything else, are going to be on top of their shit. So I'm rooting for it, But this is a great card, man. Maybe a little too long in terms of time, but not really. I'm actually not bothered by the 4 hours. It's always 8 to 12, so I'm not bothered. So it ran perfectly good for me. The only bad match, again, was the Mercedes match, but really, other than that, man, this shit was unreal. It didn't need debuts. It didn't need returns. It didn't need anything stupid or gimmicky like that. This was just as good as it could possibly fucking get, really. The results were perfect, and they were really sensible, and hopefully they ride the momentum off, Hopefully they can ride with the momentum, so I'm rooting for them. Now, if I were to give you a quick grade, I'll give you a grade before I end this off. I'd probably tell you it's I'd probably go 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. This was, for me, one of my favorite pay-per-views in recent memory. This is killing WWE's pay-per-views too, but this shit was just excellent from start to finish, man. A lot of storytelling, a lot of grudge finishes, a lot of grudge endings, but yeah, this is a great pay-per-view. Hopefully, once again, I already said it, but they keep the momentum going, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for Hanger more than anyone right now. I think I'll do a separate video maybe on this, but right now he might be the greatest wrestler in the world at the moment. His evolution is so unbelievable. Him and Jack Perry's evolution, especially Hanger's, man. But this was great.